Welcome back to another episode of The Walking Trophy. Now, if you're watching this on video, nothing in my background is going to make any sense to you because this is a brand new location. This is not the pod studio. This is a brand new location because you guys, I have been leaving you in the dark for a little while here, but I have moved into a new place. There are so many things happening. I am so excited to share them with you. I promise you will be getting updates this week. And of course, as everything unfolds, I'll be keeping you in the loop. Don't even worry about it. But today, we are going to have a very timely conversation that felt absolutely imperative to record as it was happening because there was a really big lesson that got taken away in this. And I know every single highly ambitious, overachieving, high achieving, high performer, winning woman needs to have this conversation. And we're going to be so dang vulnerable about it. So without further ado, in this brand new location, this will not be the new podcast studio. We are going to get right to it.
Welcome to The Walking Trophy. The Walking Trophy is a podcast for high-level entrepreneurs and performers who know they were built for more. On this podcast, we explore how movement, fitness, and embodied discipline sharpen your leadership, regulate your nervous system, and expand your capacity to create, serve, and lead at the highest level. Through conversations on performance, energetics, and purpose-driven success, this show reframes the body as your greatest asset for sustainable power, abundance, and impact. Welcome to The Walking Trophy.
So let me take you to the top of the story that has kicked off this conversation today. So it is 2 a.m. Ask me how I know. It is 2 a.m. as the story unfolds. I had peacefully fallen asleep earlier that night. Not a care in the world. All was well. Was thinking about the to-do list of things I had to do today, and I was pretty excited. There were some fun things, a podcast being one of them. Alas, apparently, my body was on a completely different page than I was, because at that lovely 2 a.m. hour, I woke up in a freaking sweat. Your girl was shaking, quaking in her boots. I was in a full ass panic attack. And I haven't woken up in a panic attack in, don't even ask me when the last time was. I don't know. I woke up in a full on panic attack. And all I could do in that moment was just experience the flood of thoughts, the flood of anticipating future events, the flood of surprisingly limiting beliefs that were coming through, just things that I really don't consciously believe about myself, just flooding my brain. I mean, folks, I had a sense of zero control over what was happening at that 2 a.m. moment. I was crying, I was shaking, and I was like, somebody wake me up from this nightmare. I want to go back to bed. I don't want to, who wants to be dealing with this emotion right now? And so in this 2 a.m. hour, I, with my mind flooded with all of the things on my to-do list and all of the things ahead on the horizon that are going down right now, I realized that, okay, I'm having a moment where the pressure is getting to me. I'm feeling the heat. And you know what? Don't get me wrong. I love the heat. I have truly trained and wired my brain to love these moments where the heat is on a high intensity, where you're feeling the pressure. Sometimes it's really fun and it's very playful. And I love being stretched in my capacity in situations where I do feel that heat. It's truly, it's enjoyful. It's a good time. And so I realized in that moment that I clearly was repressing some overwhelm, some anxiety, some stress, and a lot of upper limits that I hadn't realized that I wasn't facing. And so I said, okay, right now, to be honest, I have a semblance of no control. So I'm just going to feel this, and I'm just going to feel this hard for a couple moments. And so I let myself cry, and I let myself sweat, and I let myself just allow the thoughts that were coming forward to come into my brain. And you know what? I am so strict about the language that I use, whether I'm saying it out loud or saying it to myself in my head. But I said, I'm going to have a couple minutes where this is unfiltered, and we're just going to let any thought that needs to come through. We're going to let it be fully experienced and fully acknowledged. So I had my moment where I just let this exist at 2 a.m. pass out like a rock. He didn't wake up from any of this. And after a few moments, I said, okay, this is enough. We're going to settle down now. And so I went to Old Reliable for me, which is the breathwork pattern that I love to have my clients do at the end of their workouts or anytime they're feeling particularly panicked. I learned this back when I worked with a bunch of functional neurologists, and it's the 4-4-8 breathing pattern. So it's a 1-to-1-to-2 ratio of breathing in, holding the breath, and then letting it out. That has saved me from panic attacks many times in the last 6 years. And so I did my 4-4-8 breathing. And I made a promise with myself in that moment. I said, you know what? You're going to go to bed right now. But clearly, there are some things that we haven't been acknowledging. So, first thing when you wake up in the morning, we're going to face this head on. Okay? And I gave myself the permission to say, we're going to deal with this later. I gave myself permission to say, this isn't something you're going to push down again. We're going to feel it, but we're not going to feel it right now because we really need to go to sleep. And that permission slip was a lot for my body. So, fell back asleep after God knows how long, 45 minutes to an hour. Alarm goes off the next morning and I know exactly what it is that I need to do. I throw on a workout set of comfy clothes. These weren't even like cute, sexy workout clothes. This was just my comfy workout set, favorite leggings, favorite t-shirt. And I marched my little booty outside the door to our new home gym, which is part of the updates. Spoiler, you guys will hear about that later. To the new home gym we had just assembled this past week. And I said, okay, we're going to acknowledge everything that came forward in the middle of the night, right here, right now, in this training session. And already, this is not the response most people would have taken. Most people would have said, okay, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to journal about it. And that's okay. I did that too. Later. But that would be the end of it. Or they'd do a shadow work prompt. Or they would talk about it with a friend, a mentor, somebody they trusted. All of these are okay. All of these are perfectly beautiful ways of dealing with feelings and emotions. But what I knew for me and my truth in that moment is that analytically, up in this big old noggin of mine, I had already done a lot of the work here. I had already faced a lot of these upper limits. I had already confronted a lot of these beliefs. I knew why they were happening. That part wasn't a surprise to me. I didn't need someone to help me break it down as to why I was feeling this way. I didn't need someone to find the gaps that I wasn't seeing myself. That's not what I needed in that moment. What I needed was actually to get out of my head, and I needed to liberate this expression from my body. I'm a very analytical girly. Thinking actually comes quite easy to me. Analyzing is like my golden skill set. I understand humans and psychology and behavior on a very deep level. So from a mental perspective, I didn't really need to break it down further, and I certainly didn't need to keep talking about it and reliving that story and having that story be what defined me. What I needed to do was take these emotions that had clearly been stuck so deep in my body that they had to come out at 2 a.m. I had to liberate my body from these patterns and from these blocks and from these beliefs. Because the longer I ignored them, the longer they were going to simmer in my body, and the more it was going to continue manifesting in a 2 a.m. panic attack, or failing to find the right words on a client call, not being able to show up in my stories or sell. I needed to liberate whatever was keeping me stuck from my body. And so that is exactly what I chose to do. I said, I'm going to do a body-based scaling session right here, right now, because the way that I know how to navigate my challenging emotions, the way that I know how to navigate my stress and my overwhelm and liberate my stuckness from my body is not by writing it down in a journal. It's from moving my goddamn body and from coding into a new identity, the identity of the woman that doesn't have this problem anymore. Not because she chose to ignore it, but because she's choosing to transmute the emotions out of her body and into a new liberated expression. So what I did is I chose to do the first workout for my game day program. For those of you that don't know, my game day program is my 3-month high performance container. This is where women come into my world when they have their own emotions that they're stuck in, when they have their own patterns that they're stuck in, but they're also in a huge winning season of life, and they want to be able to push forward at a high speed, at a high momentum, with a high capacity. They want to be able to expand the capacity that they can actually step into their next season. And so I said, hey, I think that sounds like exactly what I'm dealing with right now. So I said, okay, I'm going to do the first workout of my game day system, which happened to be one of my capacity workouts. So this workout from beginning to end is specifically structured at increasing my capacity to hold more, better. I said, hey, I think that sounds like exactly what I need right now, because clearly I am not holding it well. I am like on one leg on a stilt on a wheel with things balancing on my arms and on my head. I am not holding this well. So I go into the workout. I'm following my game day capacity workout, feeling good. I am. I'm the second my muscles start flexing, like the second I feel a burn in my quad from a squat, or my shoulders start to burn from a lateral raise, or my heart rate starts to go up from doing kettlebell swings, whatever it is, those were all included in that workout. The moment I start to feel that sensation, my body immediately starts to shift. Because obviously from an endorphin, from a hormonal perspective, you are quite literally changing the state of being that you're in. So your endorphins are going to start shifting. Your stress hormones are going to start rising in a good way. You're going to experience this liberation of cognitive energy in order to get more into your creative center. It's a beautiful, beautiful experience to be able to work out. So as soon as I start to feel that feeling, that challenge in my body that I've come to love so much, I already started to feel better. And so what I do with the game day method, because I have a entire methodology that I channeled where you don't just go to a workout session, but your workout session becomes a training session for your new identity, for your higher level self, for the woman that is able to carry and hold all of the challenges and experiences and obstacles at your next level. That's what I have created these workouts to be. So it's not just like, okay, let's go lift weights to get stronger. It's okay, we're going to turn this training session into an identity ascension. So I'm doing my game day method, the 3-phase method, where there is a pre-workout routine, an in-workout methodology, and a post-workout integration. I decided in my pre-workout routine, where I am essentially bringing intention into the workout and I'm choosing what I want to face in the workout. I said, you know what? I've been feeling pressure and overwhelm and stress. So I'm going to bring that into my body. Just like I did at 2 a.m. where I said, okay, let this exist. Don't push it away. Don't tell it to go away. Say, hey, you are welcome to be here right now. So during my warm up, so I'm warming up my body. I'm also warming up my intentions for my brain. I'm saying, okay, emotions of pressure, stress, and overwhelm, come into my body. You are welcome to come fully forward right now, be fully expressed. I want you to be here in your fullest form. And so what I do is I bring those emotions into my body. Sometimes it can show up as a tightness in the chest. It can show up as shrugged up shoulders. It can show up as tight hips, whatever it is. And so as I am warming up my body, I'm choosing exercises that are specifically going to target these areas to help loosen them and open them up. So already I'm bringing relief to the parts of the body that might feel tension around these emotions. And what I'm also doing is I'm creating a character with these emotions where it becomes my competitor during the workout. Every athlete knows that the best way to raise up in a competition is to have a competition. So I create this character, a panic attack. And so as I'm going through the squats, as I'm going through the lateral raises, as I'm going through the kettlebell swings, the step ups, the sprints, as I'm going through each of those exercises in this workout, I'm imagining my competitor panic attack over here. Like when the weight gets heavy and I'm going, oh my God, I have to do 2 more reps of the squat. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I picture my competitor panic attack over there next to me and she's banging out those last 2 reps. And so in that moment I say, okay, do I want to let panic attack over there out rep me? Do I want to let her lift heavier than me? Do I want to let her win? Hell no. So I get my last 2 reps done and I push my capacity and I stretch my edge and I get stronger as a result. In those sprints, you think I'm going to let this character panic attack out sprint me? I'm going to run faster. I'm going to run harder and I'm going to do an extra sprint because I know she's not going to do that. I'm going to go above and beyond to beat her. And so the entire time throughout this workout, there's a play aspect of it where there's a visualization of a competitor. And there's also an affirmation in the moment where I'm going, I am the woman that rises up in the face of pressure. I am the woman that has 1 more rep left in the tank in order to beat my competitor. I am the woman that is able to experience joy and play and fulfillment when I am also experiencing the most intense discomfort in my body while it is on fire from how difficult this exercise is. So I'm affirming who I am. I'm encoding this identity of the woman that performs at the highest level under the face of the most pressure. I'm imagining my competitor, which is this challenge I'm actually facing in my life, the panic, the stress, the overwhelm. I'm imagining me out-repping her, outsetting her, outrunning her. I'm beating her in every measure during this workout. I'm bringing the mental visualization as well as the state affirmation cues into this workout. I'm not just like willy-nilly doing an exercise, going on TikTok, scrolling in between sets, going to the next exercise, going slow. Everything I'm doing is with intention and it's with speed. Not speed, let me get through this as fast as possible. It's with speed, let me make sure that I am doing this to the best of my abilities as efficiently as possible. I'm not dilly-dallying in my gym time. So that's the in-workout experience. And then the post-workout experience. This is where it all really came together for me. So my post-workout experience for cool downs for workouts, what I have my athletes do, the women that come into my world do, is we do 2 to 3 minutes of deep breathing. And I remember reading a study years and years and years ago. I think I was in college, actually, even when I heard the study. Years and years and years ago, I read a study that said 2 to 3 minutes of slow, deep breathing after a workout is even more effective than any other form of cooling down for helping reduce muscle soreness and increase recovery after workouts. Because what does it do? It helps bring your heart rate back down to a regulated state, which helps get your body into a parasympathetic state, which helps your body go into recovery mode faster. It's just a more efficient way of helping your body aid in all of the stressors that you just placed on it. So I have my athletes physiologically benefit from this because they're doing deep breathing and they're doing the 4-4-8 method, mind you. But then also there's state affirmations that we do at the end of this. We bring in the visualization. We basically do a reflection on the entire workout where we say, okay, what did I experience today? How did I overcome my challenge today? How did I win against my competitor today? And you're doing that while you're doing the deep breathing. And then you step into the state affirmation, which I'll gatekeep that one a little bit. You guys will have to come into the program if you want to know what the state affirmation is. But we do the same one at the end of every single workout. And we do a very specific method of saying these affirmations where it really codes into your identity on a deep, deep level. And I actually learned this from the great Tony Robbins himself. So it's a phenomenal methodology. And so this entire post-workout integration, the point is that we're taking every single lesson, every single win, every single moment where you overcame during the workout, and we're not letting it slide under the radar. We're having it fully established into your body and into your system. And what this does is it allows you to leave the workout operating under a completely different operating system. You can't leave the workout the same person that you came into the workout as. It's not possible. Because you, on a cellular level, from a body level, are operating under a new system because of the wins you just experienced, of the obstacles you just overcame, and of the way you code it into your brain, into your body, into your mind, into your soul. And so, the girl who had previously woken up at 2 a.m. from her panic attack was here, sitting cross-legged in her half put together home gym, having just overcome the panic attack, the competitor panic attack. I'd beat her every single time on every exercise. I'd physically overcome her. And I'm sitting there and I'm doing my state affirmations. And on the last set, if you will, of the state affirmations, I caught myself smiling. And I had this on video actually because I wanted to get some B-roll content. So I was like, okay, I'll film my cool down. And I caught myself on film where after I finished that last state affirmation, I just had this little smile and I said, thank you. Love you. Because I felt so grateful to myself in that moment. My body felt so peaceful and so alive at the same time. I felt so capable. I felt so happy with myself. I felt fulfilled with myself because of the way that I'd chosen to respond to the situation that I found myself in. Because let me tell you something. Caitlin, a couple years ago, would not have had a 2 a.m. panic attack and then had a productive day after. She would have been fully carrying those emotions forward. And it's not because she wanted to. It's not because she wanted to stay in victimhood or because she wanted to have a bad day or because she was in a bad mood and just decided to define her whole day that way. No, she was consciously aware human. But the difference is that Caitlin, a couple years ago, dare I even say 1 year ago, didn't have the tools of navigating emotions and blocks and beliefs with her body. All she knew is how to analyze them. All she knew is how to write them down or do the journal prompt or do the shadow work or talk about it. She did not have the tools to be able to bring this into her body, and she did not have the tools to liberate it from her body. It kept her stuck in her expression. She wasn't able to say what she needed. It kept her stuck in her emotions. She was not able to move forward quickly, and it would have turned into a quote unquote bad day. I would have just let myself be in a bad mood the next day, maybe even the next few days, and this potentially could have spiked into months. Who knows? I've seen it happen. But this time, as I'm sitting there and I just overcame the hurdle that had caused me to wake up in a sweat 12 hours, excuse me, like 8 hours prior, 6 hours prior. Those feelings that had caused me to be in that state, they had no control over me anymore. I was free from them. I released them. They were not with me anymore. And in the moment where I had said, "Oh, thank you, love you," it was such a prideful moment of not only I'm so proud of how far you've grown, like thinking that to myself, but also I'm so proud of you for creating this body of work because nobody else is teaching this. Nobody else can teach this. I made it. I formulated it myself through my own lived experiences and through my own expertise of getting a somatic teacher facilitation while also being a strength and conditioning coach. I created this system. It's my unique zone of genius. It's my unique skills that have cultivated together through my lived experiences. And I was so grateful in the moment to me. And you know what? I'm like, I don't say this humbly because I don't want to be humble about it. This is a big deal, but I also don't say it from a place of, superiority. I was so proud of myself because I realized that something I've created, something that the universe has bestowed me with the knowledge to have, something that they said, here, you are the right person to bring this forward. Go change lives with it. I brought forward something that I know is going to fundamentally change the lives of so many women that put such high pressure on themselves and don't know how to operate past a certain level. Because we're in this beautiful era, we're in this beautiful time in life right now where women have so much freedom. We have so much more respect than we've had at any point in history. We have more ability to be respected in a conversation, in a room, in an industry. And that's why you see women coming out of the freaking woodwork. Women-owned businesses are just taking off. They're skyrocketing because women have discovered that they have the freedom, they have the ability to create profound results in this world. And come on, a heart-centered woman leading a business is a woman that is changing generations forever. And there's more women coming forward with their unique bodies of work than ever before. And a lot of these women are high achievers or overachievers. That's just naturally how they've always been or how they taught themselves to be. And they have these beautiful, massive, ambitious goals, but they simply don't fully understand what it takes to get there. And it's great because they're hard workers and they're going to push through when they've done the mindset work and they understand conceptually how to be winners. Because that's a really common conversation in the online space. And I love that it's so common. They block themselves when they only know how to think as a winner and they don't know how to act as a winner. They don't know how to embody as a winner. The body is the vessel you're here experiencing your entire life through. You literally can't leave it behind. You have to bring it forward with you. You get to bring it forward with you. And if you decide that you are not going to take your body seriously and you're not going to use the body's innate brilliance, the body's innate intelligence to help leverage you as an asset to your business to get to the next level, then your body's going to decide for you when it wants to cut you off from being able to create forward progress. Because at some point, your capacity can't stretch anymore without your body stretching with it. Your capacity only grows when your body allows it to hold a greater capacity. And all of the women bringing forward the phenomenal mindset conversations, we need that too. But nobody is talking about the body. Nobody's talking about the power of living a fully embodied winning lifestyle where you think like a champion, you train like a champion, you eat like a champion, you recover like a champion, you fuel like a champion. When you know how to combine the world of energetics in terms of being aligned with the frequency of a winner, with the energetic mastery of your health and your wellness, you are a force of fucking nature that cannot be stopped. And nobody's teaching women how to do the body part. Nobody's teaching women how to train like the champions that they are. They're teaching women how to do Pilates and get smaller, or they're teaching women how to do bodybuilding and just kind of grit through it. They're teaching women how to do F45 workouts, which is like fun and all. There's nothing against Pilates or bodybuilding or F45. Those are all great forms of moving your body, but are you bringing the intention into it? Are you allowing these training sessions to be somatic breakthroughs, pattern blocks? Or are you just training to check it off a list to say that you exercised today and then you put your CEO hat on after? That's the biggest mistake in business today, is not taking your training sessions as seriously of a CEO moment as doing emails or content or client conversations. But that's a whole conversation for another podcast. We'll get into that at a different time. But I felt so grateful coming back to the story. I felt so grateful that the universe had chosen me to bring forward this methodology. Because after that moment, I went inside and I had a really productive day. I felt good about it. I didn't just feel like I was gritting through it. I felt good. My energy felt cleansed. I felt great. I felt calm. I felt collected. I felt regulated. And this is what more women need to be taught. And so I had to share this conversation today. I had to record this solo episode in the middle of my freaking living room. You guys can't even see the boxes on the ground behind me. I did that intentionally because this conversation needs to be had, and more women need to hear it, and more women need to register it and take it seriously. Because the more women we can bring into a fully embodied, powerful state, the better this world's going to be. I mean, come on. Women in charge is 100% the way we move the needle forward with where we're at right now. That's for sure. We need more heart-centered women. We need more women that are aligned on a soul mission. We need to teach them how to get to their next level with their body fully on board. That way, when you do have these inevitable moments of panic, of stress, of overwhelm, you know exactly how to navigate it. Because here's the thing, and we'll close with this point, but it's the most important. Living in a winning zone, showing up every single day, bringing your mission forward and your purpose forward, being the woman that does achieve and get in front of millions of people, get on the top talk shows, be on the top podcasts, have best-selling books, host 1,000-person in-person events that changes the lives of every attendee that goes. These women, the ones living in their winning zone, don't win all day, every day. They experience failures. When they're going to the next level, they experience the edge, they experience the pressure. There's going to be tough days. You're going to emotionally struggle. You might wake up in a panic attack. You might have a tough call one day. You might say things that you regret and you have to go back later and make it right. There's all kinds of increased rejection and confrontation and challenge that comes with scaling to your next level. But the winners are the ones that know how to respond in these situations. The winners are the ones that are not always receiving the gold medal, but they are always showing up the next day to get back to work. You can let the panic attack take you out, or you can let the panic attack be a moment that you liberate yourself from and move forward even stronger at a higher operating system because you know how to train your body. Winning is not only about coming out on top. Winning is about being able to stay consistent, to show up for yourself and your mission every day, and to not get derailed, to not burn yourself out. That's the most important thing in the world, is continuing to move the mission forward. That's how you win. That's how you win a mission. That's how you win a business. It's how you win at your purpose. You continue to bring it forward. And you don't let these moments derail you. And in fact, because you keep updating your operating system, the moments of these panic attacks, of these massive stretches where you're like, how do I move forward? They're fewer and fewer and fewer between because you keep updating your software, your operating system from which you act. So if you're out here and you had a moment where you totally dropped the ball You had a week where you ghosted your content, you ghosted your clients, you had your panic attacks, you haven't been eloquent with your words, your sales have been super slow, whatever it is. It's not because you're a failure. It's not because you're not good at business anymore. It's because there is an aspect of your body that's not ready to move forward with you yet. You're still a winner. You're still a champion. You still have that champion mentality. You still have those winning actions. You still have those high performance habits. You still know how to run a kick-ass business. Let's not forget that, sweetie. What you need to do now is allow your body to come with you, or it's going to try and hold you back. Show it that you can handle the next level. Train it to believe that you can handle the next level, and watch as that panic and that stress comes fewer and fewer and fewer and far between. And then when you experience those moments, you're not failing and you're not broken. You know how to respond, you know how to navigate, and you know how to move forward at an even higher level. I love you guys. I missed this podcast a lot. You guys will be hearing more from me. I haven't done a solo episode in so long, but I'm going to bring them forward a lot more. So you guys will see the new pod studio set up soon. I'll give you all of the life updates, and I'll keep you posted as we go into this crazy, crazy season ahead. I have 2 massive in-person opportunities to see me coming up on the horizon on May 7th and 8th, and then May 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. If you guys are interested in coming to an in-person event where you get to experience my workout, my body-based scaling training sessions, I will be leading these live sessions at both of these events, and I would love to have you at one or both of them. The first one, May 7th and 8th, is in Southern Florida in Miami, and then the second one, May 22nd through 24th, is up in Toronto. So we are going international with it. So make sure to message me if you're interested in the details for either of these events. I will drop it in the show notes as well. And I can't wait to keep connecting with you guys. I love you to pieces, and I will see you on the next episode.